Welcome my friends, this is Maniacal Incorporated, and this is Trade Conquest, a grand strategy in which we will begin not as an all-powerful political or military ruler, but as a wealthy industrialist who will seize political power through economic warfare. A very big thank you to Grandpaw Games for getting in contact and seeing if I wanted to check this out, and if this is something that you like the look of, go and follow their socials below in the description, because they have a big announcement coming relating to Trade Conquest in the next couple of days. We can see that the world is split up into a massive number of regions. If we zoom in Ireland, we can see that it is actually split into the county council administrative districts. So we have Kerry, we have Cork, we have Limerick, we have Tipperary North and South Riding, and Dublin has been split into its county council administrative areas. At the top of the screen we have our starting money, so we have 10 financial resources, effectively. And if we select down in County Kerry again, we can see that we have a T1 open field. So the Irish government has a copper mine. They are producing electrical wiring and power cells in County Kerry. So if we click on the open field, we can see that there is a variety of starting resources: mint, potatoes, poultry, graphite, wheat. Do you know what? We'll stick in some spuds. To begin with, what I'm going to do is basically populate the entirety of Munster with agricultural buildings. Do you know what? We'll get some poultry going in Cork up into Limerick. We'll get some sheep. Why not? And finally, for now, in Tipperary North, I'm going to get some goats, and we are now in a position. You don't know this, but we are now in a position to create one of the greatest economic resources on the planet. Zooming out briefly from Ireland, if we take a look at Brazil, we've seen in Ireland that it is largely agricultural resources. We've seen some mineral resources there, but we definitely didn't see spices. We definitely didn't see cotton anywhere. We definitely didn't see exotic woods in Ireland, so there are a variety of different resources all throughout the world based on a number of different factors, but there are different resources which can grow and which appear in different climates. So if we wanted to, because I know that cotton is a resource that we need, so we're down in Brazil. If I select on purchase cotton and go to build, it's going to tell me that we need to research a business agreement with the selected country. So once we started building our very first T1, Tier 1 building in a county in Ireland, we committed ourselves to Ireland. And if we want to expand into the rest of the world, we're going to need to research business agreements. So I've just started up the game. We are through February and March of 2022, and Russia has invaded Ukraine. This is basically a static historical event. So for the first couple of years, we're going to see a number of historical events play out. So the Russian invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022. And the dots, or the circles I should say, moving around the screen are military units. As a result of the invasion of Ukraine, a number of sanctions have been placed on Russia, and we can see that this has led to nickel batteries, vehicle batteries, and stainless steel prices increasing on all markets except CIS and BRICS. And as the game goes on, we're going to get a lot of pop-ups like that as the prices of products change in various different markets. But what exactly does that all mean? We can see across the top right that we have begun to produce certain resources. So the most essential military resources are across the top, of which we're not really producing any. Infantry, artillery, tanks, drones, planes, and potatoes. All the things that you need to go to war. So here then we have our total stockpile of a few essentials, and we can bring up the world markets, which we can now enter as we have something to actually sell to them. So here's the EU market, and this should surprise you. The list of things which are buyable, sellable, producible through various different tiers. We have Tier 1 to Tier 5 industry buildings which can be made. So Tier 1 to Tier 5 goods. Tiers 4 and 5 I think have only been added in the last couple of days. This list goes on and on and on. The UI has a bit of work to be done to it. So as you can imagine, if we had to scroll up and down through all of this, trying to find the things that we have, it would be chaos. Thankfully, we can click here, and it will hide and unhide the resources that we produce. So this is all we're producing at the moment. There's some fairly solid prices in the EU market. This is their base rate, so it's not actually the stockpile that we have. So for example, if I sell, we could sell 10 tons of sheep, or we could sell all of our sheep to the EU. Wait, how many sheep do I still have sheep? No, I don't. So it's a bit hard to tell what you actually do and don't have. And once we begin producing more things, it's going to get a bit more cumbersome. But that's all being worked on. We will dump our poultry onto the EU market, our pork. Do you know what? We will dump everything. The cattle aren't great. They're 0.44% above the base rate. So poultry, 27% above the base rate, so less than a percentage point. Let's go and look for some other markets. We have 5.8. We have no access to the black market as yet. So cattle, the cattle price isn't doing great. We'll sell them here. And the reason that we have some products to sell is because our tier 1 buildings have been completed. So we can see here, if we hover over our potatoes, we can see that there is the amount that's being produced, its base value, and then the monthly maintenance for running this tier 1 building. We now have access to a tier 2 building, and we could put other tier 1 buildings in here once the population gets high enough. So once the population in Kerry grows, it will open up access to this tier 1, and we could also actually have foreign governments come in and buy them up. We're going to click on tier 2, so we now see some of the tier 2 resources. We could make potatoes, we could make glucose, we could make ethanol. So we're told the purchase price, which will come out of our number up here. Then we're told what the production base value and the monthly maintenance go on. I do love a good pack of crisps. And again, focusing on that goat farm in North Tipperary. The government actually also has a goat farm here, so they're also, I have a feeling, they're trying to do the same thing we are. We're not going to produce goat's milk. We're going to produce textiles. And taking a look at County Galway, I always knew those divils were up to something. MJ leaves. So we don't actually have the money for that at the moment, but we're also told that it requires alternate medicine business research. Now what all that means is we need to come to our research tab, which we're being told is currently unavailable. And here are the business research items that we can gain access to. And I think, if we come down far enough, allows human cloning and allows plant-based alternate medicine. So we would need to get down to here to unlock the ability to produce MJ leaves in Galway. We can go all the ways down to auto purchasing certain resources on the world market, I should say. We could go into these markets, and there's the option to buy. Now back onto our research screen, we also have social and military. To unlock the business research, we first need to develop a research lab, and that costs 216 financial resources, so that's going to take us a while. We have our research, and there's also social and military research, which will be of more use to us later on, when we have grown our agricultural power base and used it to involve ourselves in the political affairs of a nation. So we're told, do you want to get into politics? We first of all have to actually be invested in a country. So to become involved in politics in Ireland, we would need to pay 11 financial resources. We also have the superpowers. This is more beneficial. You can see that it's saying you first need to become head of state. Once we gain access to politics, one of the actions that we have, I think it's going to be in the top left, is to enact the Enabling Act, which will make us the head of state. So we are going to focus on getting that textiles industry up and running because we have our path to power sorted out. Now we've just gotten a random event that the EU is suffering from severe heat waves, and as a result, the price of corn, wheat and soybeans have increased. Now, I don't think we can actually make soybeans in Europe. I know that they can be produced in South America, but we might want to look at setting up a wheat farm to benefit from that. And as well as war and world disasters, global warming is going to have a big impact on the prices of resources in various markets. We're told that water and comfort appliance prices increase across all markets as a result of global warming. And I think this is the last of the historical events that we're going to get. A huge escalation of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict as Hamas leads a major attack on Israel in October of 2023. We can see that we have some new resources produced. I had to click on this button first of all to make them appear. We have potato chips. The EU does not want our potatoes. They'll take our textiles though. Like I said, I'll pretty much dump everything onto the EU market. So we haven't actually started, we're producing wheat, but we haven't actually started producing any yet, and there is a huge price for it as a result of the drought. We'll sell them some spuds, and thankfully we're in a position to shop around and get a better price for our potatoes. Do we have anything left? We have our textiles, and we have some cattle. Now, I thought I sold all the cattle in the EU market. Maybe I didn't, because the price is... No, I didn't, because the price is too low. The EU aren't giving me enough for cattle. Something tells me we're not going to be able to produce this in Ireland, but worldwide inflation has led to an increased demand for gold, so gold bullion prices have gone up in pretty much all of the markets. With another round of sales to the European market, I'm up to 15 money. We need 10.8. to become involved in Irish politics. It's gone up to 11.56. So basically, with the growth in inflation, it's going up and up and up. So because it took me a little longer to get that money together, it was more pricey. So we have basically started to grease the palms of political power in Ireland. The maximum influence that it is possible to have in Ireland is 265,000, and our current influence is 28. We are insignificant. But we can see a variety of different bills. So a bill to donate money to the left-leaning party increases influence with them by 250, or would increase our influence by 250. There is the right-leaning party, which is currently in government. There's ones to increase corporate tax, to lower corporate tax. And you can see that we would need 65% of max influence to subsidize infrastructure projects, and there at the very top, a bill to consolidate power for yourself, making you the head of state, requires 100% of max influence, 100% military loyalty, and requires 5+ national unrest average. So we basically need to create a crisis that only we can solve by taking power and authority for ourselves. Here is the military screen, and you can see that we can also spend money to show our support for the military. And one of the bills there was to subsidize infrastructure construction. We can see that there's actually, once we click on a county, here is Leitrim, the metropolis of Leitrim. We can see that there's a number of infrastructure projects. So the highway project is already there. The cargo train project, we could build an airport in Leitrim. And what it's going to do is it's going to decrease transportation distance, increase transportation cost. The state receives plus 1.5 of province GDP investment income per month, and it increases our influence. So we could either do this as the government or as a private industrialist like we are at the moment. We also have the research lab that we need for business research, and that is also required before we can build a university, which will start into the social research. And then we also have warehouses. We were told about transport costs and transport distance there at the bottom, and they also impact the prices that our goods will sell for, or our maintenance and our costs at the end of each month. Now, never mind your wars, never mind your collapses of entire countries, never mind your global warming. This is news. The whole world gets ready for Grand Po Games' next big release, driving up prices for all computer and gaming systems related products. Computer chips, GPU, laptop computers, desktop computers, monitors, and gaming systems. Those are all individual products that you can produce in this game. And if we were producing them, we would be making quite a chunk of money at the moment as Grandpa Games prepares to release its next game. And it looks like that announcement has occurred towards the end of November 2024. Maybe a bit of life imitating art, art imitating life. If you like what you're seeing so far, like I said, check out the links to Grandpa Games social media accounts in the description because they have an announcement coming shortly. But we also have an announcement to make, one that will shake the very foundations of the world economy. We return to North Tipperary. We have our Tier 1 GOAT producing Tier 2 textiles. And for Tier 3, we will produce not suits, not handbags, not pillows. We will produce cat toys. We will corner the world cat toy market using textiles and feathers that we're getting from our poultry. We will supply the world with cat toys. We will build research facilities throughout Ireland to improve the quality of our cat toys. We will build massive infrastructure projects to supply and distribute cat toys to the far corner of the world faster than ever. This is our path to political power in Ireland. Okay, for a minute things weren't looking good. I thought we might actually be on the verge of bankrupting ourselves. Damn the European Union. We should Irexit if they're not going to value our cat toys. But thankfully, the Gulf Coast does. We can sell them for big bucks. As we approach the end of the 2020s, powered by cat toys and wheat, we're in a position to build a research lab. For 218, I actually thought it was more expensive and I was holding off until I'd 318. Once we get that research facility built, we will have 40 research points per month in business, and once we have 500, we will be able to research a maintenance cost reduction. And then we can go all the ways down to some more advanced. There's more reductions further down the list. There's less chance of negative consequences from building in a high unrest province. So creating unrest and countering unrest are things that you might want to do. We could go all the ways down. And allow for nuclear weapons. Build a cat toy empire. And then build missile silos and nuclear weapons. And of course we have steel dome. So we can see here is unrest going in one direction, here's unrest going in another direction. And those are mostly kind of military and security situations or buildings per county, or in Ireland per county council district. It depends where you are in the world. So we have Andorra, which is just a single region. We do indeed have, it's in there, and it's a bit hard to click on. San Marino, no Vatican. No Vatican military superpower, unfortunately. We have Liechtenstein, and then consisting of 3 regions, Luxembourg. So there we go. This has been a very short, quick look at the most of the major, but not all of the major mechanics in Trade Conquest. I'm absolutely astounded by the number of different industries that you can get involved in and the events which can pop up and which can impact them. So you might think, cat toys, everyone's going to need cat toys. Surely it is insulated from all of the major catastrophes, from global warming, from wars. Cats will always need toys. Who knows, something might go wrong that will upset our plans for greatness and glory. Check out Grandpa Games. Check out the links below in the description. They have an announcement coming in the next couple of days. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one. I'm really excited to come back to this when the full game comes out. There's still a bit of work that needs to be done on the UI. It is a bit cumbersome. There's a bit of work that needs to be done on the trade screen, on the resources in the top right, because if you keep producing stuff, that's just going to keep filling up. And it can be a bit tough at times to click on some of the counties. There's a small bit of work that needs to be done. So for example, I only discovered we could make cat toys by hovering over textiles and seeing produces cat toys, dresses, designer dresses, sneakers, suits, pillows. So we need to have some kind of a wiki or some kind of a encyclopedia where all of that is stored, because it's going to be very difficult to keep in your mind what is needed to produce all of these things, and especially what is going to be needed when you build a tier 1, what is at the end of that chain? What is the tier 5, or what potential tier 5 buildings and resources can that lead to? Eventually, the goal with our cat toy empire will be to take political power in Ireland through the Enabling Act, and from there we can build a military, and who knows what we could do with nuclear power and cat toys at our disposal. Thank you for joining me on this episode, and I hope that you will join me on the next one, because I have some scratching posts that I need somebody to help me put together.